Report for today, Thursday, September 21st. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story at this hour, a shortage of junior doctors is hampering the operations of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital's ophthalmology department. The admission from head of department David Callender. Mr. Callender was speaking to members of the media as the department received a donation of 4 slit lamps valued over $100,000.
Equipment is not a problem. We don't have enough staff. We still have a shortage of staff. They're working on getting some more staff, junior doctors that is on staff. We have any given day 1 or 2 consultants in clinic and 5 junior doctors. So we have an abundance of equipment because equipment is used for different things, but we don't always have enough staff that we need. But plans are in place to increase our staff numbers, so that's also a limiting factor.
What would be the ideal number
of staff? We're able to get another 2 junior doctors on staff.
Mr. Callender notes ophthalmology is the hospital's busiest outpatient department, seeing in excess of 20,000 patients each year, and the number continues to climb. He says staffing levels are impacting the department's efforts to clear the backlog of eye surgeries, which remains in the hundreds. Currently, about 60 surgeries are done a month, but it's hoped that that number can be increased.
We still have a backlog again. It has built back up. We have some issues with, first of all, our operating theater, the cooling system, and the equipment challenges because of humidity in the operating theater. So we couldn't do as much surgery as we would like during that period a few months ago. But we started back. Tackling the waiting list again, we have the air conditioning system sorted. The microscopes were upgraded thanks to the hospital. And given or taken for vacation leave for the consultants and nurses, we try to do what we can in between. But when we have everybody on staff again, I guarantee we'll build our numbers back up to at least a minimum of 80 cataracts a month. When we get everybody back on staff again. We have hundreds of patients awaiting cataract surgery. We will never clear the backlog. There's a constant addition to the waiting list where we take them off. We try to make patients wait for shorter time so that we can have a short wait time for surgery, but there'll always be a waiting list. So our aim is to do as many cataracts as we can so that as patients are added, we take them off within about 3 months. So we're aiming for a 3-month wait time for surgery. That's a long-term goal, but it will take a while to get there.
Mr. Callender also provided possible reasons for the increasing number of outpatients as he encouraged diabetics and people with hereditary glaucoma to get their eyes checked.
We are seeing more patients coming through the hospital for financial reasons rather than going to private doctors, so that number has increased because of that. We are seeing more patients with diabetes who have eye problems, a lot of the medical issues, a lot of them present with diabetic eye disease. We have lots of patients with glaucoma. So even though we focus on cataracts a lot, we still have to share theater time with other specialists who need to deal with those problems. And we don't want to do cataract surgery. We have kids who need surgery as well. So we try to manage the cataract waiting list in addition to what else is going on. But there's no doubt we have more patients who present to the clinic. More patients are referred from doctors as word gets around that we have a big staff, and especially now we have equipment, they're going to send more patients here. And we try to keep pace with the workload and manage that workload while we still try to deliver other services. So most of our patient population is elderly, and a lot of patients present with moderately advanced cataracts. Some come with early cataracts. A few patients present very late, but cataracts can be treated at any time. We're more concerned about patients who present late with diabetic eye disease or glaucoma. Those are the ones that we have difficulty saving their eyesight. But cataract is reversible. Once you get the cataract, your vision improves. So even though the public worries about cataract, we worry about other non-reversible causes of blindness. So I'd like to encourage the public not to worry so much. When you get your cataract surgery, you'll see better. But be more concerned about those cases where you can't reverse the vision loss.
On the CBC Morning Report, we'll tell you what changes are being made to the screening process for judges in Jamaica.
CBC TV8, recognizing World Alzheimer's Day.
Hey, not only grown-ups can sing, we can too.
So easy on me, baby. I was still a child, didn't get the chance to.
CBC TV8 is having a kids karaoke show just for us. So children between the ages of 5 to 17 come in and join in for fun. Email Nadia Foster at nfoster@cbc.bb. Hear you soon. Bye.
CBC TV8, celebrating International Week of the Deaf.
Jamaica has announced significant changes to the screening process for prospective judges. 9 judges, who were the first to undergo this revised approach, were sworn in on Monday. CVM Television reports.
9 judges who experienced the new approach to the selection process were sworn in at King's House on Monday. The 2 additional questions include the judge's most significant achievement, as well as a question of problem solving. Chief Justice Sykes says the questions are intended to add value to the process by evaluating candidates for more than just legal experience.
So the question then becomes, when you break down your working life into blocks of 3 years, what is the most significant achievement in each of those blocks of years?
He says the focus is now on performance qualification, in which the candidates' work lives would have demonstrated a commitment to hard work and excellence. Chief Justice Sykes says this approach is taken to provide greater insight into the candidates' true character.
Oftentimes when persons are starting out just after law school, the last thing on their mind is, oh, I'm going to be applying to be a Supreme Court judge in 10 years. They want to get themselves established in the profession and so on. And so your character and the characteristics that you have will come out over time. You can't act outside of your character.
President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Patrick Brooks, says the new officers are expected to create a change in the system by becoming substitutes for other judges when they go on vacation.
Unfortunately, a number of the judges who go on vacation have to take work with them, writing judgments and so on. And so I look forward to the day when judges can go off and get the rest and relaxation that vacation is supposed to be.
The total of 9 judges were sworn in, 1 male and 8 females.
Efforts continue in St. Lucia to help banana farmers. The National Fair Trading Organization there says multiple plans are afoot to create more sustainable livelihoods for banana farmers. DBS Television reports.
Bananas remain a significant export for St. Lucia and contribute significantly to foreign exchange. With a thirst towards improving the productivity and quality of banana production in order to secure more foreign markets, the National Fair Trade Organization, NFTO, has been receiving assistance from the Ministry of Agriculture and has pledged its commitment to work in tandem with the organization to address the issues plaguing the banana industry.
Well, at present, where the banana industry is concerned, it is not as it used to be in time past. It's more or less a smaller industry, but you have more serious persons in the industry at present. Currently, I'm at the NFTO and I happen to be at the head, and we want to reposition the NFTO to make it viable, and we're doing everything that is necessary to put NFTO on a very good footing. So far, there are a number of new initiatives that we have already brought on board. And we have some special people on board also, especially with the skills, to take NFTO from where it is to put it at a different level. Now, the farmers are really depending upon us. Now, no matter what happens, there will always be a group of farmers who are totally dependent on the banana industry. This is what they have known. This is what they have done in the past. This is where they're best trained. This is what they can do. So therefore, they must be supported. And I must tell you that government is willing to give that kind of support to the farmers.
This support, according to NFTO Chairman Eustace Monrose, has manifested in several forms, like relief efforts post-tropical storm Brett and the distribution of fertilizer. He says significant inroads have been created by agencies like Export St. Lucia in procuring more markets for the banana product. Despite this, however, the NFTO chairman reveals that there are several initiatives in the pipeline that he hopes can come on stream very soon to provide continuous support to the banana and plantain farmers on the island.
Also in St. Lucia, the high demand for bananas. And this is why the NFTO at present is moving into ripening fruit for supermarkets. And even we want to extend to the sheeps. And I am supposing I'm going to have discussion with the Minister of Agriculture and also the Minister of Education to be able to bring that banana to the school, a banana day, wholesome food stuff for the children. We may start with maybe one school as a pilot project.
Guyanese have been reassured the government is carefully monitoring the impacts of oil spending amid a development push. Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo revealed periodic reviews are being undertaken to maintain this. We get more in this NCN TV report.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has recommended that the authorities take measures to ensure oil spending is prudent while maintaining economic stability. One such recommendation it called for is the development of a comprehensive medium-term fiscal framework. In response, PPP General Secretary Dr. Bharat Jagdeo says it would be redundant since expenditure reviews are already being done at regular intervals. But Dr. Jagdeo notes that the government is very mindful of the impact of its spending in the oil and gas sector.
We do this almost on a daily basis. We don't need like a set period, with long intervals to review expenditure.
He says the government is already looking at the next big wave of capital expenditure, reminding that the first wave consisted of rolling out plans for 12 hospitals, 100 kilometers of four-lane roads and the gas-to-energy project.
Although we can finance it, we've deliberately been very cautious because to the extent we do that, we could push the overheating of the economy further. And that is why we're at this constantly looking at revenue, expenditure, how they impact on a lot of variables at the macro level. And so we accept that fully.
The government plans to spend a little over 50% of its oiled windfall revenues over the years 2023 to 2026 on national development priorities heavily geared towards modernizing public infrastructure and improving vital social services.
Sri Lanka is opening up its petroleum sector in a bid to free up vital foreign reserves as it tries to recover from its worst economic crisis. Chinese oil giant Sinopec is the first of 3 new companies given licenses to sell fuel in the country. We get more from Al Jazeera.
Keeping the pumps working. Sinopec is the latest entrant to Sri Lanka's fuel sector, and it's wasting no time after securing a license to import, store, distribute and sell fuel. China's second largest oil and gas producer is one of 3 companies that's being allowed in by the government. It will take over 150 fuel stations from the existing network and invest in opening 50 more.
This competition should be there. Then only now you can see now they are selling I think 3 rupees less than the actual market price.
The fuel sector was badly affected by Sri Lanka's worst economic crisis in 2022. With the government not having enough dollars to import supplies. Queues stretched up to 10 kilometers in some places, and motorists were forced to wait days to top up. The state operator and the only private operator, the Indian Oil Company, struggled to cope with demand. New entrants in the market have to source their own funds from outside the country.
The government has a problem without enough dollars. Now with Sinopec and these companies paying for petrol and diesel, the government can use its currency for the health sector and other essentials. The customers can buy what they need. We can also order what we want, and there's a discount price as well.
While some people were concerned about privatization of vital state assets, these motorists are happy.
With companies, things will be more competitive. This is the system followed overseas. This hasn't been possible in Sri Lanka due to politics and greed, because if there's a bribe to be made from everything, this is the way to get rid of that.
This is a relatively small market for global petrogiants, but analysts say the country's strategic positioning makes it an important place to be, and timing is key.
The best historical opportunity these powers have to get their slice of the pie in Sri Lanka, because a Sri Lanka that has risen, a Sri Lanka that is growing exponentially, I mean, it has the power to maneuver, it has the power to negotiate, but it's at rock bottom. That's when it has no power to negotiate. That's when other people, other powers, other interests can impute terms into the negotiating process.
In addition to the retail market, Sinopec is hoping to secure a $4 billion project to set up a refinery in southern Sri Lanka, where China operates a port.
Opening up the retail market to Sinopec and 2 other international firms will ease the pressure on the government, which has had to spend a large chunk of its income on importing fuel. Consumers are hoping the competition will bring them some benefits.
Well, it's time to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados. This morning, we'll be telling you all about a new initiative by the UN Women Multi-Country Office. And we're also going to be sharing about parliamentary reform. There's a town hall meeting coming up that we'll share all the details about. Plus, it's World Alzheimer's Day. The color to wear is purple, and we'll be talking about that. Sean Green is going to be coming through as we celebrate CBC's 60th anniversary to remind us of the faces of CBC. And, of course, we have a surprise guest coming your way. That's all coming up 6:30 on Morning Barbados. But next, we have more news, sports, and weather. Stay with us.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
CBC TV8, celebrating the International Day of Peace.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Employees across Barbados are being called on to ensure that safety and health committees at their workplaces are functioning. Minister of Labour, Social Security and the Third Sector, Colin Jordan, says this is critical. He says government is committed to ensuring that workers are protected, so the committees must function and workers must participate in all safety and health activities.
Even if there is no safety and health committee in your organization, you have to agitate because it is the law. You also have to agitate apart from it being the law because it's also the right thing to do, because you are the ones who will be impacted. And so you have to agitate in your places of work to make sure that safety and health committees are established and that workers are participant in those committees and that the committees work. That is to say, the inspections are done. When there are issues that are raised as a result of the inspections, that action is taken, and most Barbadians are reasonable. So it is not often that you can flick your fingers, snap your fingers, and every wrong thing is put right. But there ought to be a process, some mapping of what is to be done to make sure that wrong things are put right and that risks to life and limb, risks to the safety, risks to the health, risks to the welfare of workers is mitigated, or better still, eliminated.
Speaking at Banks Holdings Limited's best practices in forklift operations, Minister Jordan commended the organization on its record and for sharing its best practices with other organizations.
I think the safety culture that Banks has developed really speaks to recognizing that workers, all of us, are human beings. We are not machines. You know, we don't get put down for service every so often and parts replaced. We are people who, if we are impacted by workplace injuries, there will be consequences. Consequences to us, but also consequences to those who depend on us. And that culture is one that must be emulated. And I'm happy that Banks Holdings is making an effort to replicate that culture. That is to say, to share the culture with other organizations who have facilities where it may be not too difficult for persons to be injured in the course of their work.
The Queen Elizabeth Hospital needs about $100 million to update its aging equipment. The staggering figure was revealed by Director of Medical Services Anthony Harris during a presentation of medical equipment to the hospital. Sharika Griffith reports.
In order to achieve its goal of delivering first world medical procedures and operations, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital will need a major cash injection.
Right now we are talking about we would ideally like to have $100 million to replenish and refurbish the equipment across the hospital. Sounds like an awful lot of money, but medical equipment is extremely expensive, as I'm sure you are aware.
Director of Medical Services Anthony Harris was speaking as the hospital's busiest outpatient department, ophthalmology, received a donation of 4 slit lamps from the Barbados Canada Foundation. With over 20,000 patients seen each year, Department Head David Callender says the new equipment will allow for quicker eye exams.
These slit lamps are the newest model available in this brand. They're very efficient, very effective, and they don't require bulbs. They use LED lights, so we don't have to worry about blown bulbs. They're very compact. We've started using them already, and it gives us the possibility to see more patients faster. We have plans to use that old equipment in areas not so heavily utilized to offer broader ophthalmic service throughout the country.
Valued at more than 111,000 Barbados dollars, the funds for the equipment were the proceeds of the Bring on the Spring event held in Toronto annually. Representative of the Barbados Canada Foundation, Earl Gill, says they've already identified the next piece of equipment to be donated.
We have already begun the plan for Bring on the Spring 2024, and based on Mrs. Abu's recommendations, have selected transport monitors with carts and accessories at a cost of 96,000 Barbados dollars as the equipment to be donated next year. We have increased our 2024 Canadian dollar fundraising target to $65,000, and we are confident we will achieve this target through the continued dedication and hard work of the foundation and its supporters.
The foundation, which was registered as a charity in 2013, has donated over $228,000 in equipment to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital to date. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks, Sharika. In sports, international women's football action returns to the Wildy Turf tomorrow night. Barbados senior national team begins its campaign in the inaugural CONCACAF Gold Cup qualifying competition against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Head coach and former national striker Mario Hart is in charge of a strong 23-member squad for the League B fixture. Anne-Marie Burke has all the details.
The Barbados Lady Tridents are on a mission to qualify for their first major football tournament, and the first challenge will be to defeat Caribbean rivals St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Coach Mario Hart is optimistic of a good result on Friday, based on the makeup of the squad, despite a lack of warm-up matches.
We are excited to play in front of the home crowd to start the campaign. We will have played 2 games early in the year, 2 friendlies, and we are excited to build on that. We saw some good football coming out of the team, and we just ready to take that into the competition.
Barbados will be without striker Carisha Catlin and defender Tanija Mon due to injury, but 3 overseas-based players have joined the team: defender Oleana Bishop and forwards Acacia Small and Cheyenne Burnett Griffith. Small says she's confident of victory and hopes to get on the score sheet.
Personally, I think that I'm very ready for the game on Friday. Coming from my season at school where I'm performing very well, I have 5 goals in 4 games, so I think that I'm ready to showcase what I have on Friday and, put some goals inside of the bar for my team as well. The mood around the camp is pretty good. I came here today for the first time and I feel rejuvenated, I feel happy, I feel fresh, and I feel like we're ready to go.
Let's take a quick look at the weather. Should be coming any minute. There it is. The barometric pressure stands at 10.7 millibars. It's already 26.8 degrees Celsius outside. The relative humidity stands at 88%, and the winds are blowing out of the east-northeast at 22 kilometers per hour. Present weather, partly cloudy with showers. Sea conditions for Barbados: smooth to moderate in open water with northerly swells ranging from 0.5 to 1.5 meters. And here's a look at how the tides roll in today. General forecast for Barbados: partly cloudy with a few brief isolated light showers. Hopefully it will cool the place down. And then into the evening, cloudy with clear periods with the occasional brief scattered light to moderate showers. That's today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 on our radio network of stations. Morning Barbados is next.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
It's Thursday, September 21st. Welcome to another Morning Barbados presentation. So good to have you with us on this beautiful Thursday. We got some rain last night here in Barbados. Always a good thing because, it helps to keep the heat down just a little bit. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. A special good morning to those of you who are watching online, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Always wonderful to have you locked on. And of course, we always encourage you to reach out and share any new developments with us at Morning Barbados at cbc.bb. That's morning without the G, just how we say in Barbados morning. All right, so today is World Alzheimer's Day, which takes place every September 21st. And it's a global effort to raise awareness and challenge the stigma around Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. The theme for this year's World Alzheimer's Day is Never Too Early, Never Too Late. The Never Too Early, Never Too Late campaign aims to underscore the pivotal role of identifying risk factors and adopting proactive risk reduction measures to delay and potentially even prevent the onset of dementia. And of course, the color is purple. So if you've not left home today, we're encouraging you to wear purple for Alzheimer's Awareness all today. I know lots of people have been wearing for the activities. There's a fundraising luncheon, there's a seminar. Of course, today they're encouraging you to wear purple, and there's a lot going on, hence the colors. So we're hoping that you can head out with your colors today as we continue to raise awareness. Today is also the International Day of Peace, which is observed around the world. On this day, the UN General Assembly has declared this day devoted to strengthening the ideals of peace through observing 24 hours of nonviolence and ceasefire. Never has our world needed peace more than now, and we most certainly know that in Barbados. So this year's theme is Actions for Peace, or Ambition for the Global Goals. It is a call to action that recognizes our individual and collective responsibility to foster peace. And of course, fostering peace contributes to the realization of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and achieving the sustainable goals will create a culture of peace for all. So think about that today as you go through your day. As my mother used to say, keep the peace. I most certainly will try to keep the peace myself where I am. So we're getting the conversation this morning going with something that's very interesting. It's all about women, taking care of women, a 3-day seminar targeting training for women in micro, small, and medium enterprise, and it's going to run over the next few days. So we'd like to invite Tony Broadburn, who is a representative of UN Women Multi-Country Office in the Caribbean, to join us now as we tell you all about this training that's coming up. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Wonderful to have you with us. Now, there's been a thrust over the last couple years in talking more about women entrepreneurs and working more with women, working to help women develop themselves and what they're doing. Talk to us about your thrust in terms of this training that's coming up through the UN Women Multi-Country Office to be able to train women so they can do better in their fields.
Thank you for the question. So the issue really is, and the reason why we're focusing on women, is that 8% of all of the Caribbean that have a formally registered business, 8 are women. We talk about how many women graduate from university. It is a lot, it's a high number. But what we're seeing is that this is not translating into a return on investment for the women themselves or for the countries that they belong to. We're not seeing it reflected in the labor force participation, and we're not seeing it reflected in the entrepreneurship numbers. Of that 8%, only 1% has an employee. So the majority of people are just managing themselves, which makes it very difficult for financial institutions to invest in their businesses. It's very difficult for them to have some kind of business continuity, whether it be around a natural hazard or their own personal situations. If they are not working, their business does not work. So we have called upon the expertise of the Global South. Often when people think of the continent of Africa, they don't think about the amazing innovation and entrepreneurship that exists. We have called upon Ibukun Aoshika, who is a woman of extremely high intellect and expertise. She owned and started her own furniture company. She was the chair of one of the national banks in terms of their boards in Nigeria. She has multiple accolades, and beyond that, she is a good, kind person who knows the challenges that women face when getting a business off the ground. So she has a life series program. We were first introduced to this program because Ibukan went to St. Lucia and presented it to the OECS Secretariat. After that, we had an initiative in Jamaica called the Yemania Collaborative, where we had multiple persons go and learn from Ibukan in Jamaica last year, and we felt it was important to bring her to Barbados. So Barbadian women entrepreneurs and other entrepreneurs across the Caribbean could benefit from her expertise.
Absolutely. What I'm getting from you is that women across the globe are really experiencing some of the same challenges. What might be holding women back from coming into their true potential?
The first, and I think many women know it well, unpaid care work. taking care of our children, taking care of our elderly parents, that takes away time from your ability to fully engage in your business. It is an honor to be able to have the responsibility to care for others. It's an honor to be able to share that care with your partner or sometimes with the state. Barbados is one of the only countries in the Caribbean that has subsidized childcare that many people benefit from. Although there are still over 60% of people who want that service for themselves. So many women entrepreneurs say they don't have the time. They can't find the time. So Ibukan gives them good strategies about how to find the time without straining your relationships with your children, your partner, your family. That's one. Another key challenge is how to maintain that relationship with your spouse if you have one. You know, your spouse understanding a lot of time is going to go into this and that you have a different platform. This is about how to maintain your integrity and your sense of purpose in the world and have that inform healthy relationships as well with your spouse. The other issue that keeps coming up is that a lot of women get into entrepreneurship, not necessarily, they have a desire, but they are so driven by maintaining some stability. They are not willing to take the risk on themselves, to bet on themselves, to fully invest in their businesses. It's always a side hustle. And when it's a side hustle, it's difficult for it to really take off. It's difficult for you to do the market research and the investment that's required so that you are getting the return on your efforts that you deserve, that your product is up to the standard it should be. And the last issue that she really looks at quite clearly is collaboration. She tells a story, she's from Nigeria, of how she and other 20 women came together, even though everybody thought all these women together were going to fight and not get along, to uplift other women and get women onto corporate boards. So that women entrepreneurs stop seeing each other only as competition, but also as opportunities and potential for collaboration. How could they work together to uplift one another, to really get their businesses off the ground in the way that they need? And so she really looks at that work of understanding the dignity that lies across each woman entrepreneur and the opportunities that lie among us.
So what criteria will be used to select the women who will be participating in this particular workshop?
Well, we reached out to business support organizations across in Barbados, as well as in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Dominica, and Antigua and Barbuda. This is because of the support of the government of Japan through the Human Security Trust Fund, a program that supports women, especially in the agribusiness sectors. So we're looking at women who smoke meat, who dry fruit products, who make creams and soaps from our incredible indigenous plants in the Caribbean. So bringing them forward based on their ability, their exportability, where they are in terms of their big plan. Yes, micro and small, but you still have to be at a specific level where growth is your next step. We will have, and we do have other programs for all different kinds of women entrepreneurs and youth entrepreneurs and men entrepreneurs. We do not discriminate. What we are doing is filling a gap so that 8% number of women entrepreneurs grows. There's enough space. It's not a pie. The more entrepreneurs we have and the more successful they are in seeing that their markets are not only within their countries, but across the Caribbean and the world, the better it is for our economies, the better it is for our communities.
All right, let's talk about how the training will be delivered. Is it virtual? Is it hybrid? How do people get involved in terms of registration and finding out more?
So the training has already started. We have 25 women entrepreneurs in the room based on the names we got from the business support organizations across the Caribbean. And she is here. She's at the Hilton Hotel, and she has been training the women for over a day now. And we will be having a session as well with young women and young people across the Barbadian scope to be able to have access to her and learn from her experience. It's a collaboration with the Institute of Gender and Development Studies at UWI, and this will be held on Friday.
Now, I know that you studied here and you've lived in other places in the world. Based on what has happened over the last day or so with the training, what would you say are some of the areas that women who are here in the Caribbean, unique challenges or unique things that women here in the Caribbean really need some assistance with and and want to see move forward so that they can truly come into who they are?
So the way in which we work is we also work collaboratively. We know that the gap we fill is different than the gap, say, a Compete Caribbean or a Caribbean export fills, with getting women ready for skills that they need to be able to export. That's a key gap. But one of the things that we've been doing, and it's unique to the Caribbean to a certain extent, it's the mindset. Having the women entrepreneurs understand that why not them? They too have the power to be able to grow their businesses into whatever it is meets theirs and their families' needs. And doing that work with women so that they can understand how others have done it before, the networking that is required, the connecting them to the organizations, the business support organizations across Barbados that will also get them where they need to be. That's what we're doing. Connecting, supporting, empowering.
I think of equal importance is what happens even after these workshops as they go out into the world. So will there be any support activities or organizations, linkages that will assist them in being able to continue on with all they've learned?
Absolutely. This is not a one-off. This is the first time we're doing it in Barbados. But we have a program of support to continue with the women entrepreneurs. And beyond that, and this is something that Ibukun raised in her meeting with her first session with the women entrepreneurs yesterday, is that they themselves become a cohort of support for each other. So not only will we be supporting them through different opportunities, for example, we will soon be able to share about some of the women entrepreneurs that will be traveling with us on a mission to a Beyond Borders business fair in India, and other opportunities that we continue to support women entrepreneurs to have across the world. We have an incredible program with the Government of Canada called Build Back Equal in 4 OECS countries as well, that allow women to not only benefit from this kind of exposure, but also continued support to their business career growth.
Absolutely. So just a wonderful initiative happening right now at the Barbados Hilton. So unfortunately, we're telling you about it after the fact. So the question then is, will there be any follow-up programs? Where will they be across the region, if so, and how can people get involved?
So this is just to whet the appetite of the business community and the entrepreneurial community. The more we know that the desire exists, this is something that we will continue to have next year and after multiple years. Keep looking at UN Women's website, caribbean.unwomen.org, where you have contact information for how you can contact us if you also want to be considered for these kinds of opportunities. But beyond that, make sure there is already an ecosystem in Barbados, an incredible ecosystem of support through business support organizations, BIDC, many other organizations through which you can get support. Make sure you're registered, make sure they know what you're doing, because we often go to them to get the names and contact information of organizations and businesses that we can continue to work with.
It's beautiful what you're doing for Caribbean business women, and I'm sure it will most certainly move what these women are doing forward. So thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. All the best on the conference. Be sure to share the updates at the end, how it goes. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. And I'm wearing my purple for Amza's Day, a little bit of purple as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a break here on Morning Barbados and come back. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, not only grown-ups can sing, we can too.
So easy on me, baby. I was still a child. Didn't get the chance to.
CBC TV8 is having a kids karaoke show just for us. So children between the ages of 5 to 17 come in and join in for fun. Email Nadia Foster at nfoster@cbc.bb. Hear you soon. Bye.
CBC TV8, celebrating International Week of the Deaf.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Yeah. All right. Good morning again, and welcome back to Morning Barbados. So we're telling you all about parliamentary reform. How about that? And joining us is Shaquani Hunt. She's spending some time with me in the studio. So good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning.
And Shaquani is a student of the Barbados Community College. And we also have Dante Harvey online, who's a member of Youth Parliament. Good morning. All right, great to have both of you with us. Now, we're looking at young people taking the spotlight tonight when the Parliamentary Reform Commission hosts its town hall meeting at the Daphne Joseph Hackett Theatre, Queen's Park, St. Michael at 7 o'clock. So let me start with you, Shaquani. Tell me, to your mind, what are the major objectives of tonight's presentation?
I think some of the major objectives are that they want to hear from young people to hear our point of views, and they also want to communicate with the public to find out if they understand where we're coming from and other young people to be given opportunities.
All right, what about you, Dante? What are the objectives of tonight's town hall?
Yes, I believe the objectives of tonight's town hall meeting is to give the young people and youth advocates of this country a voice in parliamentary reform, as we all have matters of importance when it comes to national affairs, and that we have a voice to deliver the views of the youth.
Wonderful. Now, I understand you have some very interesting panelists, so tell me all about the panelists who are going to be a part of tonight's presentation.
Well, tonight it is myself, Dante. We also have Tia Danabelle, who is a former Olympian. Hopefully she'll be going back to the Olympics again. We also have Tayer Bubulia, and we also have Najir with us. But I find that the panel is very balanced and it is very fair. We bring different perspectives because we have various backgrounds. But I think in whole that we will bring point of views that the public and other Barbadians wouldn't have thought about before.
All right, Dante, tell me what are some of the areas that you're most anxious to examine?
For me, it would have to be how can young people give a greater voice in national affairs. That sometimes we need to, I like to use the word stakeholders, we need to consult all the stakeholders, and young people in this country, we are stakeholders. So that's one of the questions I'm looking forward to. And what should Parliament deliver to future generations of Barbadians?
Yeah, absolutely. What about you? Tell me, Shaquani, what are some of the most pressing issues that you're looking forward to ventilating tonight as a part of the panel?
Well, some of my most pressing issues is basically dealing with the struggle of being a young person. And I find that a lot of us have issues that we know that Parliament can resolve, and we're hoping that this opportunity gives them a listening ear to us and gives them the understanding what point of view we're coming from. And hopefully going forward, we can see some changes to reflect that.
Absolutely. So you're encouraging young people to come out from sixth form, tertiary level institutions, and young people generally to come out to the town hall meeting tonight on parliamentary reform. The role of Parliament, I know as a young person when I was young, who was interested in Parliament through my involvement with Youth Parliament and things like that. Back in the day, I know that, we were very interested. But Dante, do you think that young people these days are as interested in Parliament and parliamentary reform and things that are happening as much as we would like them to be, to ensure there is continuity, there's longevity, there's interest in these things in future?
Yes, I do agree that there's a cohort of young persons who's currently interested in parliamentary reform and what Parliament can offer for young people in this country. So, for example, the Youth Parliament, we are a group of young people who debate on a regular basis in the chambers at Parliament on issues not only affecting national, but also affecting us as young people. There's also the BYDC, which Shaquan is also a part of, and there's a lot of more, organizations who focus on politics and parliamentary reform so that young people can have a voice in this country.
Excellent. And it's wonderful that you kind of looped in another organization that's working assiduously to really bring and ventilate issues to do with young people in the Barbados Youth Development Council, always doing fantastic work as well. So wonderful to hear about them. I'm always very, very interested, very intrigued when it comes to these types of meetings where young people get to sit together and share. My fear is that a lot of the times the young people we get are the young people who don't necessarily need a lot of the help, or the ones who who always share. We don't hear from the voices of the young people on the fringes, those ones who are from marginalized communities, the most at-risk young people. So talk to me about some of the things that you are working toward through this workshop to make sure that voices of youth across Barbados, voices are heard from all young people. And we're not leaving any behind. And I know that's a tough question, but it's a for me, from me, for you, is more for you to think about as young people who are moving forward as youth leaders. You want to make sure that you don't leave out those young people who might seem like the difficult ones when you are sharing, when you want the information about what's happening in communities across Barbados, because we're all one. So, what are some of the ways you think you can get these young people who they might feel like, nobody wants to hear me, this is not necessarily a place for me, nobody wants to hear my view, to be a part of these types of discussions? And I'm going to start with you, Dante.
Okay. So I personally believe in the method of going to these young people. So I believe that we can probably have a part two to this town hall meeting where we go into the community and invite the young persons to come and share their views towards the reform commission, really, and that there's always the way of submitting your contribution to the commission via a paper document, which can be no longer than 5 pages. So that is also a method. And I encourage all the persons who believe that they may not be of the group they see on the panel to don't be hesitate to give their submission, that all submission and all voices of the young persons in this country matter.
Absolutely. What about you, Shakwani?
Well, for me, it is similar, but as a person who came out to the poll who would have normally be discarded, I understand completely where they found that their voices were not heard. As a person who works closely with many communities, I find going into the communities, forgetting about the discussion, just talking to persons, you really understand the struggle that they're going through, and you're better able to communicate and help them. Not saying that we will be able to save every person or be a savior, but we will be able to give them opportunities or give them ideas to potentially help themselves.
And how do we elevate this level of discussion, guys? How do we get young people who are out here struggling to stay in school, who are at schools as they're being searched as they go into the schools? Young people who, some are having challenges in the homes and communities, dealing with things like bullying and depression and all of this. How do we get them to elevate thought to the place where they're thinking, what do I want from my MP? What do I want from my government? What should Parliament deliver to so that the next generation of Barbadians are secure? I love that you talked about getting into the communities and talking with them, but I want to see some more of these people as a part of the presentations from young people as well, and I'm sure you'd agree, Dante.
Yes, I do agree. I think first we need to, I don't want to use the correct words, but at first I think we need to get away from the notion that there's a barrier between young people. There's the educated and there's the uneducated. They're all educated young persons with different perspectives. So there's some who would more lean towards real talk in such a sense that they would expect that their MPs and their government and that the future of Barbados and Barbadians would be, what you want to call it, what is the word, real talk, so that the conversations be real and persons not only listen to their point of views, but also understand where they're coming from and try to better the situation for them.
Absolutely. Shakwani, from you.
Well, from me, I think that MPs, at 18, we're asked to vote for them. And if we are given that opportunity, I believe at 18 we should be able to be given a voice to actually make changes. Because if that is the case, if you say that I am good enough to vote at 18, I should be good enough to be added to the table to make contributions.
Absolutely agree. And I know that this came up just a little while ago in the last election where a young man was nominated and there was a move to try to change it. There was much discussion across the country about that. So I know you guys have a lot to talk about tonight. Let's talk quickly about the particulars, Dante. What time is it? How can people participate?
Okay, so there's at 7 p.m. tonight, Thursday, the 21st of September, in the Daphne Joseph Hackett Theatre. Persons are free to come and observe the panel at the Daphne Joseph Hackett Theatre, or they can stream online from 7 p.m. at the Barbados Parliament channel on YouTube.
All right. Are you going to be taking questions from online as well, or?
Yes, questions will be from both in person and online.
All right. And Shakwani, your last-ditch effort to get young people to come out and be a part of this discussion. Let's hear from you.
I'm going to say don't be afraid to be afraid and come out.
All right. Don't be afraid. Come out and, let your voice be heard.
There's no judgment here.
Yeah. Stop talking on Instagram and do something about it. Make a change.
Exactly.
I want to thank you so much. Dante and Shakwani, continue on. I was a member of the Barbados Youth Parliament back in the day too. So wonderful to see that it's still continuing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. And we definitely will be following up to find out how this parliamentary reform town hall, especially for young people, comes off tonight. Hey, it's 7 o'clock. It's time for an update of the news. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
CBC TV 8, celebrating the International Day of Peace.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and
good morning to you.
It's time now for an update of the news. Employees across Barbados are being called on to ensure that safety and health committees at their workplaces are functioning. Minister of Labour and Social Security in the third sector, Colin Jordan, says this is critical. He says government is committed to ensuring that workers are protected, so the committees must function and workers must participate in all safety and health activities.
Even if there is no safety and health committee in your organization, you have to agitate because it is the law. You also have to agitate, apart from it being the law, because it's also the right thing to do, because you are the ones who will be impacted. And so you have to agitate in your places of work to make sure that safety and health committees are established and that workers are participant in those committees and that the committees work. That is to say, the inspections are done. When there are issues that are raised as a result of the inspections, that action is taken, and most Barbadians are reasonable. So it is not often that you can flick your fingers, snap your fingers, and every wrong thing is put right. But there ought to be a process, some mapping of what is to be done to make sure that wrong things are put right and that risks to life and limb, risks to the safety, risks to the health, risks to the welfare of workers is mitigated, or better still, eliminated.
Looking at Banks Holdings Limited's best practices in forklift operations, Minister Jordan commended the organization on its record and for sharing its best practices with other organizations.
I think the safety culture that Banks has developed really speaks to recognizing that workers, all of us, are human beings. We are not machines. You know, we don't get put down for service every so often and parts replaced. We are people who, if we are impacted by workplace injuries, there will be consequences. Consequences to us, but also consequences to those who depend on us. And that culture is one that must be emulated. And I'm happy that Banks Holdings is making an effort to replicate that culture. That is to say, to share the culture with other organizations who have facilities where it may be not too difficult for persons to be injured in the course of their work.
Queen Elizabeth Hospital needs about $100 million to update its aging equipment. The staggering figure was revealed by Director of Medical Services Anthony Harris during a presentation of medical equipment to the hospital. Sharika Griffith was there.
In order to achieve its goal of delivering first world medical procedures and operations, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital will need a major cash injection.
Right now we are talking about we would ideally like to have $100 million to replenish and refurbish the equipment across the hospital. Sounds like an awful lot of money, but medical equipment is extremely expensive, as I'm sure you are aware.
Director of Medical Services Anthony Harris was speaking as the hospital's busiest outpatient department, ophthalmology, received a donation of 4 slit lamps from the Barbados Canada Foundation. With over 20,000 patients seen each year, Department Head David Callender says the new equipment will allow for quicker eye exams.
These slit lamps are the newest model available in this brand. They're very efficient, very effective, and they don't require bulbs. They use LED lights, so we don't have to worry about blowing bulbs. They're very compact. We've started using them already, and it gives us the possibility to see more patients faster. We have plans to use that old equipment in areas not so heavily utilized to offer a broader ophthalmic service throughout the country.
Valued at more than 111,000 Barbados dollars, the funds for the equipment were the proceeds of the Bring on the Spring event held in Toronto annually. Representative of the Barbados Canada Foundation, Earl Gill, says they've already identified the next piece of equipment to be donated.
We have already begun the plan for Bring on the Spring 2024, and based on Mrs. Abu's recommendations, have selected transport monitors with carts and accessories at a cost of 96,000 Barbados dollars as the equipment to be donated next year. We have increased our 2024 Canadian dollar fundraising target to $65,000, and we are confident we will achieve this target through the continued dedication and hard work of the foundation and its supporters.
The foundation, which was registered as a charity in 2013, has donated over $228,000 in equipment to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital to date. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks, Sharika. Government is currently seeking a space to house the proposed residential protection and treatment facility to manage children whose needs cannot be met by child care centres, but who are not deserving of being in the justice system. It is one of 2 centres to be set up to assist children. Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Kirk Humphrey, provided the update during yesterday's sitting of the Joint Select Committee on the Child Justice and Child Protection Bills.
In relation to the residential protection and treatment facility, this is meant for those children under 12 and persons who are not really criminals, but who perhaps could have been hungry, committed a crime, whose, when you look at these circumstances, there's reason to give them an opportunity that does not bring them into direct contact with the system, the justice system. And the current reality of Child Care Board is that they cannot cope with this. Because even some of the children now who are at a certain age exhibit such deviant behavior. And some sent their way to court, but exhibit such deviant behavior that is outside the capacity of the persons who work in that system to give them the necessary care and attention.
Well, that's our news update. We'll have another newscast at 12 noon here on TV8, followed by The World at 1 on our radio network of stations. Morning Barbados continues after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Here's a news flash. We've just heard that the 2 Barbados fishermen who've been missing at sea for 12 days have been rescued.
The country stands poised tonight on the eve of one of its most significant historic events.
A very good evening to you as we bring you a look at local, regional and international news.
A very good evening to you. This is World Scene for Thursday, January 5th.
And that's the picture for some of the social services and cultural activities of 1982.
So when you go to rent a video cassette after May 1st, you'll have to pay more for it.
I'm Ian Bourne with another edition of the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Diane Fort. In our top story at 7...
The Faces of CBC. It's coming soon to CBC TV8 and it's available for sponsorship.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
It's summer vacation, and CBC TV8 says laugh a little. Your mid-mornings have now included some family-friendly, side-splitting series like The Partridge Family, Benson, and Designing Women. TV not to be missed this vacation. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on CBC TV8. It's Matchday Live from the 246 with host Damian Best. Your all-access pass to the action happening.
All right, so there we have it, the Faces of CBC. Interesting, taking us back. And the guy behind that is Sean Green. So good morning and welcome. I know that everybody's accustomed to seeing you, Sean, talking about sports as the sports guy, but these days you've kind of moved into a different area in CBC, so let's start there.
Yes. Good morning to you. Yes, I'm glad that you want to start there because I can't walk around Barbados unless people are asking me, are you still in sports? I don't see you on TV. Did you give up? All these sort of questions. So I just want to put that out there that the new hat that I'm wearing, I'm a media producer with the Archive and Information Department here at CBC since about April. Actually, the last time I probably would have been on television with sports is probably around BSAC. and then I made the transition in April. And I have been working on the Faces of CBC from that time until now.
All right. Of course, we're celebrating a 60th anniversary right here at CBC as well. So talk to me about what it's like being able to go through the archives and really discover some of these videos that we would have really looked at as young children back in the day when we only had Channel 8.
I think it was probably Channel 3,
Channel 9.
Channel 3 or Channel 9
Well,
back
I
then.
remember Channel 9, but I'm a little younger than you, Sean.
Just a little bit. Yes, I remember Channel 3, the old black and white TV back in the day. But yes, it is part of our 60th anniversary programming, Faces of CBC. So what we're doing in this program, well, a series of programs actually, we are looking primarily in this first instance, we're looking at former anchors who would have graced our television sets, but maybe from the late 70s up until the early 2000s. In terms of the research, it has been challenging. It has been challenging because I would have identified some individuals, of course. And another thing you need to put out there very early, because I know when you do shows like this, one of the criticisms you get is that, oh, you didn't show this person or you didn't show that person. Well, cannot show everybody. Cannot show everybody. So in terms of when I did the interviews with the individuals, depending on what they said in the interview, determine what I had to go into archives to look for. And so every interview was refreshing, every interview, and it was a learning experience as well, because they spoke about some things that I didn't even know about. So when I went into the archives and I did the research, it's like, wow. So I learned that, oh, there was a fire in Bridgetown at this particular time. This happened in Barbados. This happened in the Caribbean. So it was a good learning experience.
Absolutely. And a lot of these people have moved on. Some of them are in different areas. Some of them have retired. Share with us some of the most riveting stories that you've come across in putting this series together.
Okay, well, everyone, I'm glad you asked that. Everyone has a story, and this is an opportunity for, like us in media, our job really is to tell people's stories for them. That's our job. We hardly get to tell our own stories. And this gives former CBC employees an opportunity to tell their story. Everyone has, trust me, everyone has a story. I think for me, one of the most riveting interviews I did was one with the former head of the News and Current Affairs, Michelle Arthur, because she shared one experience that she had as a result of having this job, where she was actually stalked by an individual who saw her on television, liked how she looked, and he stalked her in her home and so on. And but I'm not going to give too much away. She's going to talk about that. But that was one of the most interesting things. Ian Bourne's interview, that's one to look forward to. In fact, they're all very good. But what I like most about all of the interviews is seeing the transition that these individuals would have made in coming to CBC and then moving on, because they all credited CBC as the platform to allow them to go on to better things, to contribute to the Barbadian society and the wider Caribbean as well.
Absolutely. And sometimes when we look back at what they were able to do with what they had back in the day in terms of resources, knowing what we know is very interesting, because it's just amazing that they even got on air.
It's true. And trust me, everyone spoke about that. What it was like working with cart machines. I don't know if you probably had some of those
When I came
days.
here, there were carts for the commercials. Absolutely.
Exactly. And then everything was on tape, actual tape. That
Reel
when
to reel.
you edit the reel to reel, you had to
Yes.
cut and splice.
Splice.
Everybody
Yep.
spoke about that. And the prompter, it wasn't electronic like this. It was actually paper that they used to feed into a machine, and you had to read off of a piece of paper and so on. So it was really good talking about the transition and the adapting to technology. Of course, during that time in the early 80s and so on, it would have been the technology of the day. So for them, it was like, wow, this is it. But of course, 40 years later, you look back and it was like, wow, that's what we had to work with. I mean, we have it so much easier today with everything is digital and electronic and so on. Something as simple as the typewriter. If you explain a typewriter to someone today who's under 18, it's like they can't, fathom that you would sit down and you would hit a keyboard and this metal thing would come up, and then when you make a mistake, you had to go for whiteout and that sort of thing. So listening to these guys talking about that experience, it really, really was very, very riveting.
I truly look forward to it. The Faces of CBC. And of course, you had an opportunity to delve in deeper. As you mentioned, a lot of them talk to you about how they were able to move into other areas of business through getting a good home base here at CBC. And we know that through the years, the stories that have come from inside and out, they've been very, very interesting. The names are still household names, even though many of them have moved on to different areas.
Yeah, I want to, as you mentioned that nicknames, names and so on, there was a gentleman who used to work here called Arnon Dial. He's passed on, and Arnon's job was to give everyone a nickname. And he was here long, so when you start to watch the series, you'll hear people from the early 80s talking about Arnon. You're going to hear people from the 2000s talking about Arnon and the nicknames that he would have. Michelle Hinkson, I didn't work with Michelle. She worked probably in the early 90s. A television anchor, used to work in the newsroom. Dennis Johnson, I didn't work with him either, but he was here for a very short time. I understand his personality was very infectious.
He was indeed.
Yes, it was easy to like him. And also Veer Walcott. Veer, his name did come up a lot.
That bugs me.
Yes.
That was very serious.
Charlie Bravo, they used to call him as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So I just wanted to mention those four because they have passed on, but they've left their mark. And of course, when you watch the episodes, you're going to be hearing some of the interviewees talking about the contribution that these four individuals would have made. Well, I want to mention Vic Brewster here as well, because even though he was not a television anchor, his name does come up a lot as a face of CBC because of the contribution that he has made. He trained me, and he trained many of the others that will be coming up in this series
he was,
as well.
at one point, I believe he was the training manager. So
yeah, very
we
good
used to come in every day, and he had to come down on set and do training. And I absolutely remember back in the days, those old time days.
Yes,
yeah?
But we can't mention everybody. Who knows? Maybe this may challenge me, depending on how the response is, to do another one. But we cannot, because I know I'm going to get this. And why didn't you show this person? Why didn't you show that person? And so on. But I am thankful for the ones that I approached and who agreed to do the interview, because not everyone did. But
all right, that's
most
understandable too.
Yeah, for different reasons.
For some people, being out of the spotlight.
Exactly, and that was the main reason.
Once you're thrust back into the spotlight, it kind of brings a different level of energy, as you would know. So I can totally understand that as well. Talk to us about when we'll be able to see this series. We will be glued to our sets.
Wednesday nights from 8:30. And then we're going to have repeats on Sunday at 5:30. So from next Wednesday, we'll have our first program. And one of the things that is a theme running through is, especially in the earlier programs, the first program is going to start with Marvel Manning, I believe. We didn't get to interview her, but we wanted to really honor her, because she is the one who really made the way for people like yourself, all of the females who are in broadcast today. She was really the first broadcaster we had started in radio, and she really paved the way for other females. And it was very good for that, because we have another female interviewee who spent some time overseas, and she said in her time around the 70s and so on, whenever you turn on the television, it was mostly men and white men. So to see that we've come so far that we have black women, coming and doing well. Up to today, we still have, you were here, so we still have that legacy continuing with CBC.
Absolutely, and I was lucky to be able to come in at a time where a lot of these wonderful people were still here. Marvel Manning had an opportunity to engage with people on the outskirts of media as well. Linda Warren and Jeanette Leclerc, usually a lot of women who were a part of radio as well. See, I'm giving you a little hint here. So faces of CBC, because we're talking about television, but a lot of them, maybe we need to do a part 2 with the voices.
Voices of CBC.
Of CBC, when you think about it too. But I certainly look forward to the faces of CBC. The little bit that we saw in that trailer most certainly has me intrigued. Were there any other challenges to really getting this done? I know it's always a little difficult to kind of sift through archival material, and then of course we're talking about in some instances decades where we have equipment that might be outdated, or getting a quality of video that you're able to use and things like that.
Yeah. Those were the biggest challenges. The interviews were rather easy, but as I said, the interviews did guide me as to where to go to look. And yes, in some cases, like there are some cases where people spoke about stories that happened to them, and some of the information, because it's so far back, so some of the information was available, some of it was not available because of what they spoke about. But the good thing about it is that I did get a lot of support from the interviewees, because they actually were able to record some stuff themselves with their cameras. Well, they didn't have digital cameras back in the day, but they provided some photos that would have complemented some of the things that they said. I think, though, the biggest challenge, was going through trying to find the archival material, and you want to make sure you find the best video to suit what they're talking about, and that takes time. It doesn't work overnight. That is why the series. I started in April, so that's 6 months. So that's what it took me 6 months to pretty much complete.
All right, so we certainly look forward to that series coming up. It's going to be airing on Wednesday nights, repeated on Sunday evenings, with you, Sean Green, who is still here, just in another capacity.
Exactly, media producer,
so they're still going to tell you
archives.
about sports, though, Sean. They're still going to tell you about sports. You can't get away from that.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because some of the ones we are interviewing are also former sports guys as well. It's not just former news anchors, sports, people that I would have rubbed shoulders with that actually brought me along with Andy Thornhill. Well, I'm going to stop at Andy Thornhill, because when we go back beyond Andy, I was not at CBC with the Sylvester Fords and so on. I wasn't in their time. But these guys, they also are part and parcel of the program.
It's also very interesting to see how the faces looked then,
yes,
as compared to how they look now, the people who are still around.
Yes, I think for me that was the most intriguing. I think that's one thing that the audience, our television audience, is going to enjoy, especially younger persons, seeing persons now and then looking at what they look like back then. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, looking at Diane. Diane is now our Director of Sales and Marketing.
Yes.
She's like, hi, I'm Diane Ford. She looks so young. Definitely very interesting to see. Thank you, Sean. We most certainly look forward to all of the other programs and interesting things that will be coming from your desk.
Yes. We do
continue
have
to embark on this new role.
Thank you. We have some exciting things coming up. Look for something spicy coming from Sherwood next month, but he's probably going to tell you about that. But we have a lot of stuff coming up.
All right, excellent. So look out for that on Wednesday night, Faces of CBC. Make sure you are tuned in for it. And we're going to take another break and come back. It's Morning Barbados.
You've just heard that the 2 Barbados fishermen who've been missing at sea for 12 days have been rescued.
The country stands poised tonight on the eve of one of its most significant historic events.
A very good evening to you as we bring you a look at local, regional and international news.
A very good evening to you. This is World Scene for Thursday, January 5th.
And that's the picture for some of the social services and cultural activities of 1982.
So when you go to rent a video cassette after May 1st, you'll have to pay more for it.
I'm Ian Bourne with another edition of the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Diane Fort. In our top story at 7...
The Faces of CBC. It's coming soon to CBC TV8, and it's available for sponsorship.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's Matchday Live from the 246 with host Damian Best. Your all-access pass to the action happening in the BFA Premier League and beyond. Every last Monday of the month on CBC TV8. Kickoff time, 8:30 p.m. with analysis from our panel and highlights of the top performances. You can weigh in on the discussion via WhatsApp on 228-5562. It's Matchday Live from the 246. Don't you miss it.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone Weekdays, right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
This year's International Day of Deaf People runs from the 19th to the 25th of September. And the theme for 2023 is a world where deaf people everywhere can sign anywhere. Where deaf people everywhere can sign anywhere. Now, we've been sharing a number of projects ongoing and some that have been completed that really showcase the talents of deaf people and all they love to do. Now we're going to give you this flashback of an intern, a former intern here at CBC, whose name is Dario Nightingale. Go with us on this journey.
This is the International Week of Deaf People, and so we wanted to talk to one. But we also have with us this morning Dario Nightingale, who is deaf, but also the owner of D-Scope, and like Bonnie Leonce, my friend, who is his interpreter today. Morning, both of you. Oh, do that again for me. Huh?
I come under.
I gotcha. Gotcha. Well done. Dario, you're deaf. It's been our immense pleasure to meet you this morning. How has life been for you with deafness?
Okay, my life is a challenge. There's some challenges, but there have been some positives as well. For example, I grew up deaf. I was born deaf. And my mother knew just a little bit of sign language. You know, she tried to have some communication going, but you know, with patience and a lot of progress and over time. Hold a sec. My picture is also in Dario's picture, so some of his signs are being cut off.
Okay.
So I can't see. I'm seeing myself twice.
Right, so let's see if we can help you here now.
Okay.
What was Dario saying?
Okay, let me continue. Yes, I've had some challenges. There have been some challenges, but there's also been some developments. I went to school for the deaf. There's some learning, socialized with some of my friends. You know, I've gone to workshops. I've had the opportunity to travel, even though I'm deaf. You know, I've had many things. But, you know, you really want a higher education. Have not been able to do that, but I'm still continuing with my own development. Now that I'm an adult, I have some responsibilities where I have started my own business of craft, making coconut out of coconut shells. I'm also involved in media with video recording, and I have a lot of support from the deaf community, so that's good as well.
I recognize some of what he just said when he put his hand to his eye. That's a video. I got that part. That was great. So here you are now, Dario. You own your business, D-Scope. You know, when you grew up, you became that man. Naturally, looking for employment became a bit of a challenge. Tell us a little bit about how inclusive Barbados has been to people like you who are deaf.
Okay, half and half. Some people accept us where it comes to job opportunities. We want to be seen as the same. Deaf and hearing, what's the difference? We're all human. We want to be involved. We use our eyes. We have skills. We're very visual. And we work so much. There's so much that we can do. We watch, we understand, we copy, you know, but we need hearing people to be more open-minded so that they'll be able to respect us. I don't want people to say that people can't. No, that's a very closed-minded approach. You want your mind to be open, and we want you to see that deaf people have skills, and they use their eyes, and they're able to do any job which is presented to them.
But then, in terms of your customer base, you know, people would look at you and think, you know, he's deaf, so I'm not so sure he could provide me the services I want. How do you break that down so that people understand that the products that you offer are just as good as, and that your business is a legitimate business and we should take your services?
Okay. Okay, so for me, convincing is more of a friendly approach. I just ask for respect. Once we start with respecting each other, for example, my deaf business, I try to interact with people. I try to maybe teach them a little sign they want. I try to understand what they're saying, and they try to understand. And we figure it out. I show each other. I show them what I am capable of, and people are very curious, and they are like, oh, maybe you can come and work for me. That's the way. Maybe convincing them in a little steps so that their minds begin to open a bit more and they're more accepting to the deaf community and then become more inclusive.
Have you considered employing other people who are deaf to be a part of your business de-scope?
I haven't thought about it as yet. I just want to improve my business first, develop it some more, and then maybe I can teach other deaf people, for example, about video and photography, and those who are maybe interested, I can help train them, and then they can better themselves, and maybe they can set up their own business, and show the world that they can as well, not just work for me, but to have their own stuff.
I am so happy to have met you today, Dario Nightingale. Congratulations on your business. Congratulations on everything you've been able to achieve so far. Hearing what Bonnie's is telling us that you're saying, it's clear to all of us that your head is in the right space. And we want to support you in your business. We want to really make a success out of you. So for anyone watching this morning who wants to know more about de-scope and to access some of the products that you offer, how can we contact you to get that?
Okay, I'm on Facebook and Instagram as de-scope. Instagram, Facebook. Hold a minute. Facebook is. Okay, so Facebook is de-scope. And you could just check de-scope. Or I have some cards here. Not sure where I'll leave them.
Right.
I'm sorry, it's pretty, you can't see much of it now. But I do have business cards as well. And I'm also on Instagram. Just look for de-scope. Also, there's some other deaf people who have some businesses as well, and you can contact me, and I can also show you some things. But we know we wanted to have a deaf expo, and we're hoping to have that in November. We've had to delay it. We want to show people about some skills that some deaf people have, and not only deaf people but coders, that's children of deaf adults, and so different various skills that they have, so that we will introduce Barbados to our culture, so that they'll be able to see and understand that deaf people can, and I just want to show you something short. This is something that I would have done out of coconut shells. So I have
This is beautiful.
key rings.
Yes.
There are there's many more things I have, many more crafts and products, but it's not only me, but my wife as well. She helps me as well with some of the artistry, some of the painting, and when it comes to, all the carpentry and making the carvings and crafting, we're in this together.
Oh, that is so beautiful, Dario. I can't wait for people to really get to it. I like the fact that there's going to be a Deaf Expo showing all that you can do to show that you are just as able as every one of us. So I'm excited about that. So please remember us when that time is drawing near in November to help us help you.
Okay, for sure. Thank you.
But listen, don't run yet, because I heard you say that you're married. Tell me a little bit about, is your wife also deaf, or is she, is she also deaf?
She's hard of hearing. Not fully deaf, she's hard of hearing.
Okay. So I would.
So she's not profoundly deaf, but hard of hearing.
All right, but you're doing very well together. So Dario Nightingale, congratulations on everything you've achieved thus far. We want to show people right after we wrapped up here a little bit more about your business. Bonnie Leonce, as always, thank you so much, my friend, for joining us to help us understand better. And I know, Bonnie, you can talk to us a little bit about the value of sign language and learning that next language so we can also communicate with others within our society. Talk to me a little bit about that, Bonnie.
Okay, so in this week especially, so it's International Week of Deaf People, and it's really important that people understand that the world is becoming more inclusive, and people need to understand that it's not common or standard anymore to have an okay, I can't communicate, so that's it. You're deaf. You're not included. We have to make the effort, and Barbados is not by itself. We are part of a community. Barbados is part of the world. So the world is watching us.
Yes.
And, paying attention to us here in Barbados. But really, it's about the human aspect of it. People want to be included. Everyone wants to be included.
Right.
So, learning how to sign simple things like good morning.
Yes, I got it.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Thank you. Easy things, and deaf people appreciate your effort. They don't want you to be really a skilled person,
Yes.
That will help, but to show that you're trying, that's important.
We teach French, we teach Spanish, we teach all sorts of foreign languages, and yet the people who live among us, we're never taking the time to teach their language as well, sign language. How important do you think it is that we introduce from a very early age sign language to our curriculum?
I think it's really important. I've been saying that for many, many years. Deaf people have been saying it for many years. It's important. And before people come at me and say, we teach sign language as an extracurricular activity after school, that's not what I mean. We want it to be a formal subject taught formally in school. Deaf people are among us, and possibly you would meet a deaf person before a person that speaks other languages.
You're right.
That are taught in schools. So it's really important, and for me, it's not only about the signing or the language, but it's a human aspect. When we learn to sign, we are including other people as well. So it's not, you're giving them an opportunity. So it's not just about learning a language and, feeling smart.
Yes.
But you're doing two things at the same time. You're learning to sign, and you're helping to become more inclusive to a community that people often just push aside.
Push aside. We could talk about this forever. You have me trembling with excitement indeed. Thank you so much, Dario. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for joining us this morning. Don't forget me when it comes to the Deaf Expo in November. Make sure you keep us in touch with what's happening there. Thanks, both of you.
Okay, I will give you the information. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Have a good day now. As we go to break, take a look at what D-Scope offers. Look at that. Some of the buses, the replica buses done for, look at that, the green monkey. Isn't this beautiful? This is part of the work and the craftsmanship of Dario Nightingale of D-Scope, the windmill, as we know it there in St. Andrew. the windmill. And these are key rings. These are little tokens. The chattel house, which is a part of our landscape and our culture and our heritage. The boats on our seas, captured by Dario Nightingale, the owner of D-Scope. And these are all available. Remember, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. That picture, that hibiscus looks so real. A coconut looks so real, I am telling you. But he also does videography and a whole host of things as well. Sand in that coconut shell. If you're getting married, that's another way of presenting your rings. This is beautiful indeed. D-Scope on IG, D-Scope246, on Facebook, D-Scope1. They provide key rings, bowls, pen holders, jewelry, and a whole lot more. This is how we celebrate who we are. This is how we acknowledge who we are, and this is how we include everyone in our society. Remember, this is International Week of the Deaf, and there's Dario at work, at skill, taking some images and for videography at a wedding engagement. He's busy. Let's keep him busy. Dario Nightingale.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, not only grown-ups can sing, we can too.
So easy on me, baby. I was still a child, didn't get the chance to.
CBC TV 8 is having a kids karaoke show just for us. So children between the ages of 5 to 17 come in and join in for fun. Email Nadia Foster at nfoster@cbc.bb. Hear you soon. Bye.
CBC TV 8, celebrating International Week of the Deaf.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart, but to be
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. A very interesting interview there with Pearson, absolutely sharing with us, and some great pieces as well. It's time for us to play a little game, get going, roll those shoulders, wake up. I'm getting you ready, getting the brain flowing, all the juices. We are going to play a game of unscramble. So I'm going to share some letters with you, and you get to try to unscramble this. And remember, what's the clue for this one? Let me see. It's an outing. Yeah? A type of outing that you might have. So something you would want to be a part of. Very interesting. It's a place to have fun, to see family and friends. Yeah. And it's outdoors. How about that? All right. So those are some really good clues, if I might say so myself. Remember, you're calling 228-5562 or 228-5563 in order to get in and unscramble these words for me. Pretty easy to start, so you definitely should be able to get this one. So just remember to stop and smell the flowers. That, of course, is a clue as well. So some pretty good clues for you as we move through. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, what's your name?
Aaliyah.
Hi, Aaliyah. Where are you calling me from?
Christchurch.
Christchurch. Where do you go to school?
I'm finished.
You're finished school?
Yeah.
You have a little voice.
Thank you.
You sound like you're maybe 12 years old. Do people tell you that all the time?
Yes, please.
All right, can you unscramble this?
Is it Danger Party?
Pardon?
Danger Party?
It can be danger party, but it's not a danger party. Go again. If I tell you to go there and smell the flowers, is what?
I smell flowers?
Yes. Out in the where do you have flowers planted?
A garden party.
Yes, not a danger party, but it can be danger, but it is garden party. Thank you. Congratulations, Aliyah. Oh, beautiful stuff. A danger party. I love that. I don't think I'd be going to that danger party, though. I don't know about that. Danger party. What's that? A danger party. All right, next word. How about this? All right, so if you're trying to beat the heat, you want to cool down the day, there are certain things you might want to eat that would make you feel refreshed, you know? So listen, I have some people working here in the studio. This guy is shouting out the answers. You're not allowed to do that, Michael Sobers. Yeah, all right. So let's go again on this one. So this one is pretty easy. So they're usually big and they're great for hot days. It's something to eat. It's a fruit. And I think I've given enough clues. Yeah, but it definitely is something that that is good for hot days. It's healthy. So, you know, it's something that you can have. For me, I like it as a drink. Some people like to eat it. You know, lots of cues, lots of clues. Yes? All right. Good morning. Welcome. I'm told we have a caller. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Where are you calling me from?
Regency Park, Christchurch.
Pardon?
Regency Park, Christchurch.
All right, Christchurch. Can you guess this word? Unscramble it.
Yes, please.
Tell me.
Watermelon.
It is watermelon. Did you say it right away or did my clues help?
Sorry, right away.
You saw it right away? Do you like
Yes,
watermelon?
Yes, please.
All right. How do you like it best? I like to drink my watermelon. You like to eat your watermelon?
Yes, please.
All right. Have a fantastic day, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Bye-bye. She likes to eat her watermelon. I like to drink my watermelon, so I like watermelon juice. All right. Here's another one for you to unscramble. And this is something that, you know, Barbadians love it. When I think back to my childhood, I used to hear a knock on the door and it would be somebody out there asking for this. I don't know if people still do that, but, you know, especially if there were people working around the place, they would knock on the door and say, hello, can I have this? So I don't know. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. Where are you calling me from?
I am calling from St. George.
St. George. Where in St. George?
Constance.
Constance. Do you know where CBC is?
In the
Pine? Do you know where Sky Mall is? No? Tell me some place you know. Do you know where Bridgetown is? Do you know where Bridgetown is? Yes?
Yeah, I know where Bridgetown is.
All right. If you had to give me directions to get from Bridgetown to your house, go. Give me some directions. Let me see how good you are at giving directions.
You have to go down to...
Yeah, that's not going to work out. All right. What's your name?
My name is Caditon.
All right. Can you unscramble this? Do you have the answer?
Yes, please.
Tell me.
Ice water.
It is ice water. Good stuff. Congratulations. Do you drink a lot of ice water these days, especially since it's so hot outside?
Yeah, I drink water.
Do you have a water bottle that you take to school as well?
Yes, please.
All right, that's good stuff. So make sure you refill it throughout the day, okay? And get all of your water in. And don't stay out in the sun too much, okay? Where are you going to school?
St. George Primary School.
St. George Primary?
Yes, please.
All right, excellent. Good morning to everybody at St. George Primary. Thanks for calling. It's ice water. And I'm sure you knew that. When I was little, people used to come and knock. I said, I could get a cup of ice water. I don't know if people still do that, but hey. All right, so it's World Alzheimer's Day today. Of course, the color to wear is purple. So if you've not left home and you can, put on your purple to represent for awareness of Alzheimer's today. Never too early, never too late. Make sure you wear your purple to represent today. We're going to take a break and come back as we wrap up today's presentation of Morning Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
CBC TV 8, celebrating the International Day of Peace.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so that's it from us for today. We had a wonderful time with you. Most certainly hope that you had a good day too. I want to say a special good morning to those offices coming out in your purple today, representing for Alzheimer's awareness, particularly the doctor's offices and geriatric hospital and at the hospital and so on as well. So a special good morning to you. Q in the community is usually somewhere special, but Q is going to London. So on Saturday, September 23rd, they're going to be at Oakington Manor School. So you tune into 100.7 for the live broadcast from 7 o'clock on QFM. Jaquila is leaving tonight. She's heading off with DJ Dr. Scotty, Soca Sniper, and Wayne D.B. Rollins. They will all be there. We're broadcasting live art and craft, There's going to be a lot of dancing and dining. So it's going to be an exciting time for Q in the community. Nisha Woods has a new music video. We're going to share that with you tomorrow. Also, the anniversary of Hurricane Janet and how it affected families across Barbados. Plus, the BTMI is back to talk about culture of cuisine. That's right, the dates have changed. The Junior Chef Cook-Off competition. And we're talking Bajan Afar. That's all coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados. Hey, have a great day today. Remember to wear your smiles. Do something nice for someone. And come on back tomorrow. We'll be here, God willing. See you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you.